So I have been wasting way too much time, guys. We have a whole lesson today. So I'm going to start talking about the lesson. If you haven't watched the videos from yesterday, watch those today. I have already uploaded today's slide. I will upload the lesson video. I mean, you guys don't really need to see it because you're going to see it live right now, but some people do because they missed the Zoom today. So the Protestant Reformation, the most biggest scandal in history, not in history, but during the Renaissance at least. I don't know about you guys, but I watched The Crown on Netflix, and it's a really good show. I love that show to death. And right now, I don't know if anyone has seen the news, but Prince Harry and Meghan Markle gave this crazy interview with Oprah, and everyone's talking about it. So, and everyone's losing their mind. Basically, what's happening right now with the whole Prince Harry and Meghan Markle thing is literally what happened during the Protestant Reformation. It was scandalous, it was explosive, and man, oh man, did it lead to a major change during the Renaissance. So this happens during the Renaissance, okay? At this point, we've learned people are learning new things. People are interested in thinking for themselves now. We see that someone said, oh boy, I'm gonna go get my teacup real quick. Yes, if you can, go get a teacup because I'm gonna spill all the tea today. Just kidding. But so what we see here is things are changing, but people are still very heavily Catholic. And if you guys remember this, there's only two types of Christians at this time. You're either Catholic or Eastern Orthodox. And the big question I have been getting nonstop is, where are the Mormons, Escobar? Where are the Anglicans? Where are the Lutherans? Where are the Presbyterians? Where are the other type of Christians? That's what we're going to see today, okay? That's where we see the day. All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a female volunteer and a male volunteer to comment me as fast as possible. Go, go, go. All right, Emily and Christopher. Wow, that was fast. All right, so let's pretend Christopher is a Catholic priest during the Renaissance, and Emily is just a baker during the Renaissance, okay? So Emily is crying. She's right next to a well. She's crying. And Christopher, being the kind priest he is, goes up to Emily and says, hey, Emily, what's going on? Why are you crying? Emily says, well, let me do my crying voice. Well, Father Christopher, I did something very bad that I'm not proud of. And then Father Christopher says, what's wrong? Emily, what did you do? She's like, well, I was really hungry yesterday and I didn't have enough money to buy food. And my children, let's pretend Emily's already a mom, and my children were hungry too. So I stole a sandwich. Because I had nothing to feed them. Father Christopher is like, oh, that's not good, Emily. You're going to go into hell. That's not good that you did that. Emily's like, I know, Father. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go into hell. I'm so sorry. What can I do? And then Father Christopher says, well, Emily, actually, you're asking the right guy, because if you give me enough money, I will give you an indulgence, which is another word for basically a ticket straight into heaven. And Emily goes, really? And then Christopher says, yes. Oh, yeah. Just give me all your money. All right. So Emily, being devastated and very vulnerable, goes back home, takes her entire family savings, and goes to Father Christopher and gives him the money. Ladies and gentlemen, type yes or no in the chat. Is what Father Christopher doing shady and wrong? Yes or no? Of course it is. Father Christopher is taking advantage of a vulnerable woman and telling her and trying to convince her that the only way into heaven is by giving him money. And literally Christopher was the only person in the chat to say, no, I'm right. Everyone else said that that's wrong. But this is what was constantly happening during the Renaissance. Here's why. Priests, bishops, and pope in the Catholic Church, they're seeing the bankers and the merchants get really, really rich during this time. And they want more and more money. They want to hire Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo to paint that beautiful painting in the Vatican. So they need to make money somehow. So they're doing shady things. They're doing these scam type of deals. They're selling indulgences, which here's the word, by the way, indulgences, which is a kind of cancellation or punishment for sins that have been confessed and forgiven by God. Okay, that is not very holy. Okay, some priests would even make promises to their relatives. I don't know why I wrote the word theory. I need to erase this, but so I gotta okay. Some priests were even making promises to relatives so that they could make sure that their family would go into heaven. And these church officials were becoming really, really rich. And here's a Renaissance painting of these people from church. And if you notice, yeah, their style is very different, but you notice, you could tell that they're loaded with money. Their clothes, the garments that they wear, you can tell it's embroidered with gold. Their scepters are golden. They're wearing a lot of type of expensive metals and silk and fabrics on them. So like they're becoming very, very rich. And with that, because they're doing it in very shady ways, it's becoming corrupt. And here's what happens in the year 1510. Martin Luther, we are not, by the way, huge disclaimer, we are not talking about Martin Luther King. That guy is awesome. That guy exists until like 50 years ago. We're not talking about him. We're talking about the OG Martin Luther. His last name is not King, just Martin, the first name, Luther, last name. Martin Luther in the year 1510, he's a monk. He's Catholic himself. And one day, it says right here, he's from Germany. He visits Rome, which is the center of the Catholic Church. There, when he got there, he is shocked by the corruption by the Roman clergy. Clergy is just another word for Catholic positions like the Pope, the bishop, and the priests, okay? The Pope, and he realizes that the Pope and the church officials had become increasingly involved in politics. So these guys are like literally stepping foot into the whole politics of it all. Shouldn't you guys just be involved with church? But now you guys are making laws. Now you guys are determining who goes to war. You guys are making military decisions. That's to you guys. And on top of that, you guys are doing shady deals like indulgences. They're spending way too much time trying to raise money. And Luther sees this and he's becoming extremely concerned. Like, okay, as Catholics, how are we being good Christians if we're becoming corrupt, if we're scamming people, if we are lying to people, if we are getting into businesses that we shouldn't be getting into? Martin Luther is seeing this, or I'm going to call him Martin. That's his first name. Martin is seeing this and he's like, this is not okay. Okay. This is totally not okay. So he gets extremely mad. And here is a very famous image of Martin Luther. Okay. Right here. First name Martin, last name Luther, okay? This guy is beloved by a lot of Protestant Christians because of what he does next, and we'll talk about it, and that's why some people name their children Martin Luther, like Martin Luther King, okay? So Luther especially despised, he hated indulgences. He would hate something that, like, for example, Father Christopher would do. He would be extremely mad at that, okay? And he did not believe that salvation, he believes that salvation is only given if you're a Christian. He believes that salvation is only given to you by God, not by how much money you give to the church. Okay? So one day, when he sees a priest selling indulgences, this happens in real life, he gets really mad. So let's pretend it's Christopher, our very own Christopher, Father Christopher. He's in the street and he's yelling to people, if you have done something bad, if you've committed a sin, if you want to go into heaven, come over here for indulgences. We're selling indulgences. As if that's how easy it is to go into heaven. If you're a Christian, you know that's not what it takes. Martin Luther sees this and he's livid. By the way, livid is even more madder than mad. Okay, he's mad. And he says, I'm going to quote what he literally says. He says, I am hot-blooded by temperament, and my pen gets irritated easily. So what he's saying, I'm so mad, even I can feel my bloodstream running with heat. And I'm going to write something down that is not going to be good for anyone. So he writes a list, ladies and gentlemen. He goes to his home He writes a list of 95 arguments against the sale of indulgences. These arguments are known as thesis. Theses. I just realized right here, I did not spell that correctly right here. I made this slide right before school started today, and I was half asleep. So I apologize for all the grammatical errors. I will fix these later today. But anyways, the year is 1517. He goes home and he writes this 95 thesis, and it's basically 95 things that the Catholic churches should change. And this dude, just listen. The guts on him, the audacity. He could have posted this list of 95 theses. He could have posted it on like a random wall. He could have posted it maybe like on a window on someone's home, or maybe like next to a well, because people would go to wells to like get water. This guy said, I'm going to write 95 things that the Catholic Church is doing wrong and then post it on a Catholic church door. He did that. Yikes. Once he does that, that's like, for example, okay, whoever Zoom bombed me, right? They're cursing me out. They're saying all these things, and they could say the meanest things online, like, oh, Mrs. Escobar is fat, ugly, annoying, just disgusting to look at. That person could post that on Instagram, on Snapchat. But what if that person posted that on my actual classroom door? First of all, respect, because that takes guts. That's exactly what Martin Luther does. He's like, this is everything that the Catholic Church is doing wrong, and then post it on a Catholic church door. Oh, bro. So, what happens next? Here is it didn't really look like this, but here's kind of like a copy of the 95 Thesis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's why I mentioned the whole Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview at the beginning of this thing. The reason why that thing is going it's becoming a huge scandal, that interview that was given by Oprah a few days ago. Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is. Social media is, news people are, YouTube is, everyone's talking about it. Martin Luther didn't realize that homeboy Gutenberg had already invented the printing press, ladies and gentlemen. Do you guys see where this is going? So somebody copies down Martin's 95 Theses and makes thousands of copies and sends it to the rest of the continent of Europe. So now all of Europe knows what Martin Luther did, knows exactly what he's saying, and knows exactly what he did by posting it on the church door. This went viral. And remember, the printing press was basically like the social media of back then. That's how things got around, because now things are being printed faster, faster and quicker, right? Now, it's all through social media and internet. We have all that stuff. But this is crazy. And people everywhere are reading this like, whoa. Some people are split. Some people are like, you know what? Martin Luther actually has a point. What the Catholic Church is doing is not okay. Okay? The priests, the bishops, the Pope, how do you think they're feeling right now? Type it in the chat. How do you think they're feeling? 3-letter word. M-A-D. They are mad. So all of Europe is split. And because the printing press is going crazy, right? Because everyone is reading about these 95 Theses, because people are interested in reading now, ladies and gentlemen, everyone kind of knows what's going on. Okay? So, many church officials, I'm going to read this right here. Many church officials saw the 95 Theses as an attack to the Catholic Church itself. In the year 1521, the Pope excommunicated Luther from the church. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a word that shouldn't be a stranger to us. We talked about excommunication already. Remember when Pope Urban excommunicated King Henry? Remember how bad that went to King Henry? So I just want to refresh your memories. I want to see who actually remembers. What does excommunication mean, ladies and gentlemen? What does excommunication mean? People during medieval times would rather die than be excommunicated. Why? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are really, really smart. A lot of you guys remember. Yes, it's banning someone for the Catholic religion. And it's also saying you're going to hell and you're also wiped out. No one wants to talk to you. You're kicked out of the church. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I need you to stop you guys. Before the Crusades, when Pope Urban excommunicated King Henry, that was in medieval times when everyone cared about religion. Now we're in the Renaissance where people are kind of leaving behind religion. So guess what? Excommunication doesn't really do anything to Martin Luther. He's like, wow, you guys are going to excommunicate me? Like, I'm part of the Catholic Church, but okay. People still kind of like him. And people are reading the 95 Thesis and they're like, well, he has a point. He's not wrong. So basically, Martin Luther, he's like, well, I'm kicked out. Some people are still talking to him, unlike King Henry. You guys remember what happened to him. And he finds a buddy who owns like this huge mansion castle. He says, buddy, dude, I have nowhere to go. I used to be a monk. Monks, by the way, live in the Catholic Church. I used to be a monk and they kicked me out. So I don't have anywhere to go. Can I please stay here? And the dude says, you know what, dude? Yes, come on in. Stay in here. You should be safe. While he's staying in his friend's house, ladies and gentlemen, okay, he does something pretty crazy, okay? Let me go to the next slide. Hold on, don't look at this yet. Here we go. While he's gone, he translates the Bible. Now, to you guys are like, okay, big deal. What? I don't care. He translates the Bible. No, it's a huge deal because I've mentioned this already, but I haven't put too much emphasis on this. The Bibles during this time had only been printed in the language of Latin. Latin was the language that people in the Roman Empire used to speak. But now it's been 1,500 years since the Roman Empire. No one really speaks Latin. Everyone is now speaking Italian, German, Spanish, English. The only people that really know how to speak Latin are priests, bishop, and the Pope because they have to go to Catholic school where they teach you that language. So when people are seeing the printing press or now printing out the Bible, they're like, well, I still can't read this because I don't know the language of Latin. But Luther translates it into a language that everyone can understand. So now, here we go. This is where it turns, right? Now people don't have to go to church and just kind of wait for the priest to finish reading the Bible in Latin and then wait for him to interpret how he understands the Bible. Now people are reading the Bible and they can actually understand the Bible and they realize, oh my gosh, nowhere in here does it say that Jesus told people that the only way to go into heaven is by paying a priest. So now people are like, Martin Luther was right all along. And this is crazy. Now people can think for themselves. They don't have to wait for a priest to tell them what the Bible says. They can read the Bible on their own. Which, by the way, it's pretty impressive that Luther translated 600 pages of Latin into German. And then other people in Europe are like, okay, this is German. I'll translate this into Spanish. I'll translate this into French. I'll translate this into Italian. Okay? By the way, Martin Luther, his intentions were never, it was never to break the Catholic Church. He really, honestly, he didn't mean to cause so much drama. He literally just wanted to fix this indulgence problem and a few other problems. He didn't think that this would go this far. So, because they saw that excommunication really meant nothing to him, they hold this huge trial. It's like the trial of the century, okay? The Holy Roman Empire still exists, okay? And the emperor summons Martin Luther. He's like, all right, Martin Luther, come out, wherever you are. We're going to put you on trial, dude. And this trial is known as, and has a funny name, Diet of worms. Now, I know right here it says worms, but in German, V's, W's are kind of pronounced like V's. So diet of worms. Diet, also back then, it was another word for a trial. So the trial of worms, okay? But anyways, there, they ask Martin, hey, we'll forgive you, dude. We'll bring you back into the Catholic Church. It doesn't matter, okay? As long as you take back everything you said, because it's causing a lot of drama. This is a huge scandal we never anticipated for. So please just take back everything you said, and here's your opportunity. And they don't have microphones, but he's like, here's your chance. Martin Luther has the opportunity of his lifetime to, become a monk again, become Catholic again. But he says, I'm going to read, because this was written down that day, and guess what? We still have a copy of what he said. I'm going to read it out loud. Here we go. Unless I am convinced by the testimony of the Holy Scriptures, or by evident reason, for I can believe neither the Pope nor councils alone, I consider myself convicted the testimony of Holy Scripture, which is my basis. My conscience is captive for the Word of God, to the Word of God. Right here, this is the jaw dropper. Thus, I cannot and will not recant, because acting against one's conscience is neither safe nor sound. God help me, amen. So he said, in other words, nah, I'm not going to recant, and recant means to take back. I'm not going to take back anything of what I said on the 95 Thesis. And that, my friends, here, by the way, is the very famous painting of him saying, nah, fam.
You wrote gold help me.
I know. I know. This is why
he was very rich, and he just needed his gold at that time.
Yes. This is why you don't do things last minute like Mrs. Escobar, because I did this slide half asleep and I made an error right here. Sorry. But yeah, here's the painting where it's at trial, the diet of worms. And this just, wow, changed everything, because now for the first time, people are reading the Bible and they have their own interpretation of it. And now some people are saying, okay, well, I'm going to separate myself from the Catholic Church and start my own Christian denomination. And this is why we have so many Christian denominations today. This is why if you're Christian, that doesn't mean anything. What type of Christian are you? Are you Anglican? Are you Methodist? Are you Catholic? Are you Eastern Orthodox? Are you Reformed? Are you Presbyterian? Are you Amish? Are you Baptist? Are you evangelical? There's so many Christian denominations, and it all starts because of Martin Luther. This entire time period is known as the Protestant Reformation. Why is it called Protestant? Take the last three letters away from Protestant and you have the word protest. They're protesting against the Catholic Church, ladies and gentlemen. So, first of all, I do want to point out that I know that I have some Catholic students in this Zoom. I am not trying to offend you. The Catholic Church itself has apologized for this, and the Catholic Church no longer and has stopped doing indulgences. They do not do that anymore. I was raised Catholic, so this is just a part of Catholic history. Catholic history has a lot of shady things.
That was my bestseller too.
Oh, okay. That's cool. But yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. There's a Protestant Reformation. And I really, really, really think that if you guys haven't seen the videos I posted yesterday, they're very helpful in kind of understanding everything I just said. Okay? They're right here. Okay? There's no assignment. You just have to watch these 3 videos right here. All right? On Thursday, I'm going to do a Kahoot where I will quiz you guys to see who paid attention to this assignment, who paid attention to these 3 videos, and who paid attention to what I taught today. Someone in the chat said the second video is the best. I agree. I love the second video. It's a cute little cartoon kind of explaining everything that happened. But this period, guys, it was scandalous. It was truly crazy because I think it's the biggest thing that changed the world because, well, at least Europe, just Europe at least, because medieval times, Europe was very, 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 very like God, 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 Bible, Bible, Bible. But Bible was really only Latin, and they only had to depend on priests to read them. Now they can read the Bible for themselves and interpret it the way they want, right? And by the way, someone just asked in the word someone asked earlier, what does interpret mean? That's a good question. Interpret means like, you know how sometimes there's like a movie and like the end is very like you don't know what happens left. Well, that means that the movie creator, whoever directed the movie, he left it to your own interpretation, meaning you get to decide how you understand that movie and what you think that movie was about. And that's exactly what's happening here. Now that people are reading the Bible in the language they understand, now they get to decide how they interpret the Bible. And that's why you have so many Christian denominations. The UK interpreted the Bible and they made their own entire denomination. They're all Anglican, okay? Some people, it's just how they feel about it, right? And so that's why you have hundreds of different Christian denominations. That's why you have several Christian churches in Bakersfield. They're not, just because they're all Christian, that does not mean they agree on the same thing. Anglicans, Catholics, Presbyterians, Eastern Orthodox, they all agree on one thing, but they have a little different things here and there, okay? They all interpret the Bible very differently. All right? Any questions, comments, or concerns? Ladies and gentlemen, what are your questions?